Good afternoon. Thank you very much. I was asked by the family to bring joy to this occasion. Something that they felt that I could do, which could be doubtful. Anyway, I'm going to be your MC for today, and my name is Colleen Cousins. And you're going to hear from very special people and hear some very special music, beautiful choices. And also a very special prayer, if you will, that meant a lot. How do you make this cheerful? I don't have an Elmo puppet. I don't have any props other to say that guy was a freaking joy. So I'm going to ask several people after our next musical interlude to come up and share. But in the interim, what I'd like you to do is take this musical interlude and start thinking about the funniest thing that Jason ever did to you or with you. Because you got to have a million stories. Who's got a story? I'm not going to ask you to say it, but who's got a story? Oh, more than that. Thank you very much. From SHRM to, I never understood what that SHRM was. It sounded like some kind of radical organization. What are you going to do? I'm working for SHRM. Okay. From SHRM to the regional York County Chamber of Commerce to beer and beer. How many pictures of him with beer have you seen? And the thing is, and I don't want to belabor this, I don't drink beer. And so one of his goals in life was to get me to like beer. I go to Ireland. I go to Guinness. He says, if you go to Guinness, you'll like beer. It's different there. Okay. My husband and I go to Guinness. They pour that sludge in a glass. And I take a sip of it. And I videotape this for Jason and I sent it to him. I says, Jason, it's still feckin' beer. Me no like. He finally gave up and then tried to get me to like bourbon. Didn't work either. So we stuck with the red wine. So with that being said, I want you to think of something that was joyful, that you had fun with, that he made you laugh. And I love to make that man laugh. Of course, a lot of it was in despair, but he just go, who are you? So if we could play the next piece, I don't know how this is going to roll up. Ma'am, thank you very much. And then we will have a very dear friend of Jason, and this is a gentleman that we all met at the same time at the regional, your Rock Hill Regional Council. And the very first day that we were seated at this board table, sat at the board table. We were in a chair. And next to me was Grady. very distinguished, very nice. So I'm here, it's serious. And across the table down the way was Jason. And I looked down at him and I went, yeah, I'm going to like this guy. And we've all been friends ever since. So Grady will come up and he will share some of his thoughts on his friendship with the man. And then I will take over again. Y'all in? Are you all in? Yeah. All right, tough crowd.
In the 15 years that I knew Jason, I came to know two sides of him. The first, and obviously one that everyone is going to be aware of, he lived his life to the fullest extent. The entire outer world, as I call it, was his oyster. Okay. But he was also an explorer of the inner spiritual world. He spent an awful lot of time. Those of you who know him well will know this. He spent an awful lot of time in meditation, seeking solitude, often going on walks, hiking and climbing to clear his head and to work through his problems, the troubles of the day, just to be in his spirit, be at peace to the extent that he was able to let go of his troubles. Now, to my knowledge, Jason was not a very religious person. However, he was quite spiritual. And it is in this light that I got to know him and spent a lot of time with him in the spiritual side of life. Now, when I met with Michelle and some of the other family members last week in order to hear their thoughts for this service, Michelle quickly and without hesitation said, I want this to be about feeling. It's not about all the accomplishments. It's not about all of the things and this and that. It's about feeling. And like Colleen says, I want this to be joyful. I want people, though, to express themselves. They need to release feelings of sadness, grief, and loss. But I also want this service to be an uplifting celebration of Jason's life. So given these things, I've chosen to speak about two things that I think are closely tied, that Jason and I spoke about from time to time over the years. And that would be meditation. And I want to add to the conversation of meditation the concept of mourning. How do you mourn? What's the point? How do we do this? Now, these two things actually go together well because they present us opportunities to move on from the grief, the mourning, and into actually celebration, into the joy and the laughter that we're meant to experience. And in the end of my remarks, I'm going to lead us through a quick, simple meditation. I will guide you through this, but this will be a chance for each of you to share and release. Now, in order to frame the idea and the concept of meditation that I'm going to use, I need to add something in here. The New Testament is filled with the I am sayings of Yeshua. Yeshua is Jesus, the Aramaic name for Jesus, Yeshua. The I am is the name and presence of God in the Old Testament, in the book of Exodus. When Yeshua said, I am, I believe he referred to the Father, the active presence of God, who spoke the word and speaking the word through him into the world. So in the book on meditation that I read, it's called the I Am Discourses, written by Saint Germain. Meditation is described as stilling, making still, the activity of that so that the inner presence, the I am presence, may come forth unobstructed. Meditation means feeling God, not thinking God. It means feeling the active presence of God, and it is necessary to consciously remove from the feeling and attention every disturbing thing. Now, this definition offers three key things, or actually four key things. First, meditation is really about your relationship with God within yourself. Secondly, it's about being still. You got to put aside all the troubles of the world and just go in and experience the love of God. Feeling ties into this. The third thing that Michelle really wants us to do is to feel. And as I said, it's okay to feel the sadness and so forth, but it's important for us to acknowledge the experience and move on from it. Okay? Now, this ties very nicely into the idea of mourning. In the Aramaic language that Yeshua spoke, the word mourn meant to acknowledge and experience the presence of disturbing energy in your field. Now, we're not meant to accept and hold on to these feelings. It's important that we let them go. It means giving them a voice so that you can identify them, experience them briefly, the feelings, just long enough so that you can illuminate them with the light of the presence of God within you. Now, illuminating them actually will dissolve them, energetically speaking. Both mourning and meditation, in both of these, our aim is to express and release. When you hold tight to feelings of darkness, such as the pain and so forth, you block access to your inner divine presence of healing. And healing is what we need to do. So you don't want to block that. You don't want to turn your back on the light that is within you. So seek the light. Don't run from it. Seek it. Embrace it. And it can and will be a very powerful tool. And actually, if you give it permission, the light within you, the active presence of God within your heart, will do the heavy lifting for you. And so with this, I ask you to join me in a meditation. This is not going to be difficult. All you need to do is follow a couple of easy things. So first, if you're willing, close your eyes right where you are. Get comfortable. Close your eyes. Take a nice, deep, cleansing breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Focus intensely on your heart center. See the light. Imagine the light being there. Can you see it? Can you feel it? With every breath that you take, see that light growing brighter and brighter, brighter and brighter. Now, while you maintain your focus of attention, I want you to gather that light into your heart and imagine, see that light projecting out from your heart to the family of Jason and to Jason himself. Actually, Jason's here with us right now. Can you see him? How do you picture Jason? For me, I see him with a smile on his face. I see him with his sunglasses hanging from his neck. He's wearing a bright, colorful shirt, shorts, and whatever those flip-flops are called. I don't know what they are, but he's got them on there. And quite frankly, he's just grinning from ear to ear. And he's telling me right now, he's saying right now to tell you how much he appreciates your light and your love and the fact that you would share that to comfort and support his family. So feel good about that. Jason's smiling, he's happy. He's happy to be a part of this. So as you maintain your focus and blast your attention, your light, fill that light with positive, uplifting thoughts. maybe the funny story that Colleen was saying, you got to remember. Just infuse that light with that feeling, with those stories. And family, I want you, in your focus of the light, in your heart, I want you to pay attention to the amazing amount of light that is coming into you right now. It is being blasted at you. This room is alive. It's filling with light, and it is all for you. I want you to receive it and return that same light and love with additional light and love from your heart back to the folks that sent it to you, adding in love and gratitude. So let me give you a minute to just project this light. I'll join you in just a second. Give you a second to do this. Now, in this ocean of light that we're all in now, that we're sharing, exchanging, there's a circulation of this going by. Look and decide how you feel about this. Okay? Now, I want you to take another breath and then open your eyes, feeling refreshed, eager to celebrate the awesome life of Jason Collett.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Yeah, there will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the the sound of music, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. But there will be an answer. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be.
I don't know about all of you, but I want Grady love anytime I need to do some public speaking to speak before me. That was very loving. As I've told Grady, it's not just because his last name is Love, but when I think of Grady, I think of love. I'm Susan Brackett, and I'm honored to be here to share some thoughts about Jason and hopefully inspire you to be there for your family, your friends, and community members the way Jason did so. I have known Jason for about 12 years, and for the first few years of our friendship, we volunteered together at the Chamber of Commerce, like Colleen said. And at the time, he had the lab business, so he really wanted to know my husband, Kevin Brackett, who's the solicitor or lead prosecutor for York and Union counties. But while those guys talked about drug things, drug testing, I got the pleasure of knowing Michelle and their family. As you'll hear, Jason was a generous volunteer in Fort Mill School District, where I've worked for the past 11 years. However, the most impactful thing that happened in my friendship with Jason is how he showed up for me when I was recovering from brain surgery in January of 2018. I was fortunate. It was a benign tumor, and I didn't need chemo or radiation. However, my recovery started out really slow. I mean, slow. Literally, I needed to walk, but I was really unstable. And Jason would come and walk with me. We walked in my neighborhood at first, and later we would go on longer walks on the trails in TGK. Those were my favorite times with Jason. As you all know, Jason could go deep into conversation very quickly. So you can imagine how much we discussed as we walked side by side for hours. We talked about our families. We talked about our children, what they were up to and what they were doing. We talked about business and his many ventures and adventures. We shared our spiritual lives and thoughts, and we agreed that we should take more time for our friends and our family and just walk with each other. Please raise your hand if Jason showed up for you at some point in your relationship. Thank you. As special as those one-on-one times were with Jason, he was truly a shining star. That's my gold blouse today. In the classroom where he was inspiring young people. When my Fort Mill High School teacher friend, Jennifer Molnar, who is an amazing teacher, asked if I knew anyone who could speak to her entrepreneurship students, I immediately thought of Jason. I introduced them, and together they made great things happen for kids who were aspiring and are still aspiring to be successful in business. I'd like to recognize my friend Jennifer and ask her to stand. Oh, she's not going to stand. Come on. There she is. She's amazing. Jason first spoke in Jennifer's classroom on November 19th, 2015. And from 2016 to 2019, he was a shark with the virtual enterprise class, where he gave feedback about the businesses that these students were trying to develop in Jennifer's class. And some of these students would compete with other business students in local, regional, and even national, state and national competitions. And Jason would meet with those students more than once as they improved and moved on in the competition. He was also a guest speaker on subjects such as interviewing. I had the privilege of watching him several times. You would have loved it. As Jennifer said, he truly was so generous with his time and talents, and the kids feared him and loved him. So here are just 7 quotes. Believe me, it wasn't easy to narrow this down. Jennifer had to help me. Other people gave outside advice because maybe we were too close to those kids. But here are the students 16 to 18 years old, and I took some, privileges, taking some things out of those quotes. But these are from thank you notes from the past 9 years. We promise to take your advice seriously, and we will use it to help improve both our business and ourselves. I think you have a very cool story, and thank you for listening to our questions and answering honestly. Come on now, we all know Jason was honest. That's why those kids feared him. I will be sure to use what you have taught to my advantage, and I'm grateful you gave me this advice at a young age. Your tips and life experiences taught me that anything is possible as long as you have ambition. I will always take my questions to an interview. God bless you, Jason Collett, for that simple, specific, and important advice. And this one's long, but I promise it's worth it. I am honored to have gotten a chance to hear your story. It is very relevant to me that you are a true businessman. It was great to hear the knowledge that you have to offer. I'm a big fan of how you relate mountain climbing to the business world. You definitely gave me a broader perspective of the entrepreneurial world and the struggles that come with balancing home and work life. This was definitely an experience that will stick with me. And lastly, I learned so much from you, and I hope to be as successful as you someday. Jason was successful. He was a talented musician. He was a daring athlete. He loved deeply, most especially his wife, Michelle, and their children, Alexandria, Samantha, and Nathan. Jason was there for his family, his friends, and others. He succeeded in creating and growing various businesses. He was and is loved. All of us have talents and gifts, other things we had to work hard to learn and conquer. I'd like to give you a little homework assignment that Jason would have done with his students. Take inventory of those things that you might share with others. Maybe it's as simple as showing up to listen, take a walk, or say that you care. Honor Jason's memory by asking yourself, who could benefit from the knowledge and experience I have acquired, and share it like Jason did. Thank you.
Tanaka Nitem, Niyat, Monty Brownham, Homosiki Hiri, Hihada Yeta, Jason Nitem. I said, hello, my name's Monty Brownham. I'm happy to be here today, and may the Creator bless Jason's people. I'm just supposed to give music, but I've been moved just to share a few things, and I promised the family it won't go on like last night. We have a term, indigenous people, in their way of teachings, their way of learnings, and in their way of life is Matakiwe Osan, which is all my relations or all my relatives. And we're all related. As I said and watched people enter today, listening to what's being said, I've been really moved at the amount of people that I've seen, people that I've known, people that we all spent time with many years ago, and a lot of people I don't know. But the one thing I do know is Matakiwe Osan, all my relations, we have an impact
And it's up to us as individuals whether that impact is a positive impact or negative impact, He has had a positive impact. You can tell. You look around at all the people that are here, the different walks of life that all these people have walked. Jason impacted all of us in a positive way. How we honor Jason. Be the people that Jason loved. Be the people that love Jason. And if we do that, we will too have a positive impact on this world and other people's lives to make the world a better place. Oh, well, thank you. Away, oh, hey, oh, hey, 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 oh, hey, 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 oh, hey, 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 oh, hey, hey, oh, hey. Way, hey, Yahweh. 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 Honey, great.
That was beautiful. Agreed? Okay. That just blew me away. You have to stop that. Okay. Now it's my turn if this thing will ever come on. Technology is my friend. Maybe. Come on, Apple, you can do it. Okay. I told myself this afternoon, you can do this. Jury's out. Jason Collett. How does one describe such a man? Complex, gregarious, adventurous, intelligent, innovative, giving, tireless, interesting, always seeking a challenge. When Jason was your friend, you had an advocate. An ear to listen and hear you. And that's the important thing here. He didn't just listen to you, he heard you. Whatever you had to say, which wasn't always pleasant. Someone with whom you love to share a glass and just have a good conversation. His love of beer is renowned. The Rock Hill Brewery is just one of his projects, and I often watched him working away to get it open and the beer brewed. The garage door would be open in the brewery, and there he was with a saw and hammer and planks and all kinds of stuff laying around. And he was climbing up those big barrel things, whatever they call them. He says, "You're going to kill yourself up there." He says, "I'll die happy." I said, "Okay." And the Halloween parties. How many of you went to one of his parties? Yeah. And I was telling them the other day that the one I remember the most is when he dressed as a native, like from Tanzania or something. And he jumped up in front of me and he said, "Who invited you?" Scared the bejeebers out of me. But he liked it. He said they were for his kids, but we all knew he loved them. Serving his own beer and ensuring his costume was amazing. And he concentrated on those costumes, didn't he? Worked really hard. Sometimes they worked and sometimes they didn't. But he always looked great. A man devoted to his wife and children. He shared with them one of his passions, rock climbing, or rather for Jason, mountain climbing. He would hike and snowboard with them and tackle boogie boarding on the lake. He was so proud of his children and their accomplishments with anything they tried. As a parent, he worried about them and nagged them, but the support remained. This is the hard part for me. As for his lovely wife, Michelle, cute as a damn button. She was the yin to his yang. Oh, here, they're here. Oh, good. Quiet and strong, beautiful and calm, hardworking and enjoying her children. And she was so good and patient about playing board games. And I loved bringing her flowers every time we visited just to see her smile. One time I walked in, it was like 2 weeks later. She says, "They're still alive." I said, "Oh, good. I got more." You could see one of my favorite memories was when he took her to Greece. What a beautiful trip. And you could see in the pictures how content and happy they were on that trip. Jason was the kind of man who didn't think twice in raising his hand to volunteer in his community. My husband always says to me when I walk out the door, he says, "Don't raise your hand." And Jason always raised his hand, so, I can do it. The York County Chamber regularly benefited from his ideas and efforts. SHRM, again, that radical organization, looked to him also serving in several capacities, lastly, president. The list of those organizations on which he served, huge. And when you look out here today, he touched so many different areas of the community. You never knew what he was going to get into next. It always was a surprise, and he would say, "Okay, this is what I'm going to do." I'm like, "Okay, fine." And the last time we were together with Ted and Tim and I, and he said, "Guess what? I wrote a book." I went, "The hell you did?" He says, "Yeah, I did." He says, and I said, "Can I read it?" He goes, "No. It's being edited." I says, "I can edit it for you." "No." So he was very excited, and we were excited for him because he loved a project. He loved to do. Like when he built the pool, because according to him, he built it. He dug the hole. And when it wasn't, the backyard wasn't built for a pool. But that pool went in, by God. Finally, he was such a valuable friend to me. As I said prior, he not only listened to me, he heard me, and always took his time and gave sage advice. And he sure as hell didn't sugarcoat it. He gave it to me right between the eyes. Rather, he explained how it would help me with a decision or a situation. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be uplifting. Uplifting. I shall miss him so very much and will keep him in my heart forever. He's just a cool dude. How many cool dudes do you know? You know, in your life, they walk around with ties and notebooks and they go to meetings and then there was Jason. Totally different dude. So that's about all I have. There is a gathering at the Glennon Center at the TKK Short Club area. Don't follow me. I have no idea where I'm going. But I want to thank Grady and Susan and Monty. It was such a pleasure meeting you. You caused all this. It just struck my heart. It really did. Does anyone have anything exotic that Jason did for you? Anybody? I'm talking legally and morally. No? Okay. Well, we're going to gather there and chat, and then you could tell your stories about the fun things or the amazing things or the kind things about that guy. Yes, ma'am.
His mom.
Mom,
I want to say something. Can you hear me? Or should I go?
you can hear me.
About his Halloween party. Except this is when he was 8 years old. He was supposed to be upstairs doing his. Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're a good man.
He is a wonderful man.
I don't know who you are, but you're a good guy.
He's a good guy. Jason was interesting to raise also.
Katie, bar the door.
Yeah, so this Halloween thing started many years ago. So he's 8 years old. He's supposed to be upstairs studying for a math test the next day. And I was so proud of him because he stayed up there for hours. And I thought, oh, wow, he's really into this. I'm so proud he's studying for math.
That wasn't happening.
No. So I went up and it was probably 11 o'clock at night and went in his room only to find he was making a Halloween costume. And he wanted to be Freddy Krueger.
Oh, gee whiz.
Yeah. So he had, I don't know where he got the striped sweater that Freddy wore. He had the hat. But his pride was, I don't know where he got the medal from. But he made it was awful looking. The long metal,
Claws.
nasty claw thing, it was about that long to fit his hand. And he terrified the kids in the neighborhood with it. So he had a good time. The math test, not so good. But we loved him for all his various interests and eclectic.
Idiosyncrasies.
Yes, that's one word for it. But he was a very special person. And I'm thinking today, thank you all so much for coming. We are just so touched by everyone that loved him. And I'm so thankful to be his mom for all the years we had him. And I think he's a meteor. He did a lot in a short amount of time with a lot of energy and creativity. So thank you.
I once heard that we're put on this earth to teach and to learn. And when we've taught all that we're supposed to teach, and we've learned all we're supposed to learn. We go home.
Mm-hmm. And he is home.
He is home.
He is home.
Thank you, everybody.
And isn't it strange how princes and kings and clowns that caper in sawdust rings, common people like you and me, are builders for eternity. Each is given a list of rules, a shapeless mass, a bag of tools, and each must fashion ere life is flown, a stumbling block or a stepping stone. It's my favorite poem. And I knew Jason when he was a clown that was capering sawdust rings. And now I know him as a prince because he showed up for me. And he was persistent about showing up for me. And not many people do that in my life or any of our lives. I've known Jason 32 plus years, and he just showed up. And he is truly a king in my eyes. Love you, John, Brandon, and Terry.
Thank you so much.
And we love Jason.
Thank you. So sweet.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea,